Here at the South Africa Bike Festival, there's a lot of manufacturers, and for the most part, they're all really good. But if we want to see who's the most mental of all of them, we have to come down here to the Kawasaki stand. Kawasaki is like Lamborghini's bike-building Japanese cousins. They really are mental. And if you want to see the most mental of all the Kawasaki's, you have to look at their 1000cc super bikes. And to do that, last weekend, we went to Bikisa just to see how mental they are. We started with this one over here, the ZX10, the obvious one. Now, we did a full review of it a while ago, and it is available on our YouTube channel, but basically it's a 200 horsepower superbike, which is pretty much the ballpark for 1000cc superbikes these days. But where the other superbikes sort of nurture you up to 200 horsepower, they push you with nurturing fingers. This bike puts on a big steel cap boot and gives you a good kicking. Now, this bike is more than most mere mortals can ride, but it still isn't the most mental thing in Kawasaki's range. For that, we're gonna have to step over here. This is Kawasaki's H2, and if you wanna know how bonkers this motorcycle is, just look at it. I mean, a lot of people have criticized it because it's not pretty. It's just like saying the creature from Alien is not pretty. Of course it's not pretty. If you want pretty, go to a flower show. But what this bike does look like is that it wants to tear you limb from limb. And in many ways it does. It is the first ever motorcycle to come out with a supercharger, the first production motorcycle to come out with a supercharger. And if you want to know how bonkers it is, just think about this. The ZX10 is already more power than most people can handle. But this bike makes 20 more Newton meters of torque, and while the spec sheet says it makes the same horsepower as the ZX10, the dynamometer says it makes between 20 and 30 horsepower more. And when you ride it, you can feel it. It is genuinely, genuinely terrifying. This is the 2016 model, which means it gets a new paint job, the frame no longer looks like it was done by a 4-year-old, and the mapping has been reworked, which means it's no longer open the throttle and be terrified. It'll bring terror in more progressively, to progressively lead you up to being absolutely terrified. But this is still not the most mental motorcycle Kawasaki makes. For that, we're gonna have to walk over here. Now here we have the big daddy of Kawasaki, probably the big daddy of all motorcycles. This is the H2R, and it is so mental, Kawasaki won't even make it road legal. It has no headlights, no indicators, no mirrors. It comes out with slick tires. And there's good reason for this, because the supercharger on this bike spins at 130,000 RPM, pushing 200 liters of air into the motor every second. And the result of this? Well, the ZX10 pushes 200 horsepower. The H2, more realistically, 220, 230 horsepower. This bike, 326 horsepower. And with all this carbon fiber bits, it is light, much lighter than the H2. It's 216 kilograms. Now, that is a lot of power to weight ratio. If the Bugatti Veyron wanted to push the same power to weight ratio as this, it would need to push 2,800 horsepower. It's absolutely mad. You cannot fathom riding this thing, controlling that much power, that much acceleration. And this all becomes a bit more daunting when we look at the costs of crashing one of these. These little winglets over here, these carbon fiber winglets, they are 46,000 Rand each. This front fairing here, 85,000 Rand. This air duct, carbon fiber air duct, pulling air into the supercharger, 58,000 Rand. As a matter of fact, this whole front section of fairing costs the same as a ZX10. All the fairings on this bike cost the same as an H2. And the whole bike, 850,000 Rand. Now, riding this thing sounds scary, and it is. But we had to do it. Here's what happened. Okay, here we go. First ever ride on an H2R. All 850,000 Rands worth. Side stand up, key on, push the button. Oh, that's loud. Whoa, that's loud. Yeah, the EU's not gonna pass that for the road. First gear. Right, let's go. Okay, we're moving. Riding down pit lane. Whoa. That was about 5% throttle, and it did shoot forward. Okay, we're going out of pit lane. That is a very loud exhaust. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's fast. I went about half throttle there, and it shot forward.
Okay. Okay, easy there. These are cold tires. That was third gear. Still not full throttle. I haven't tried that yet. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to die at half throttle. Already I can feel it's a lot lighter than the H2. Okay. We're going to go on this left hand onto the pit straight, and I'm going to open up and see what happens. Wow, okay, okay. I didn't reach full edge there. The front wheel started jumping up. The front wheel started jumping up and I chickened out in short shift. I'll try again. Okay, third gear, we're going to go onto the back straight. We're going to open it. That was fast. Okay. To be honest, this bike does not handle badly. I mean, it's no R1 or Panigale, but really, after riding the H2, this does feel like a little kid, in the corners at least. On the straights it's another story completely. Okay, let's try straight again. You just gotta hold on for dear life. Hold on for dear life. You're just a passenger. You're going along for the ride. That's anger, hatred, and scorn, all folded together and supercharged. I'm pulling to the pits. I can't do this anymore. I can't see myself riding a bike like that again for the next 20 years. Unless I go on a MotoGP bike, it's just not going to happen. I'm actually shaking. I'm shaking. Look at this. I'm done. Good night, folks.